This week on A Drier Dose of Disney, we will be meeting the host of the podcast as well as getting the most important piece of advice when traveling to Disney.
Welcome to A Drier Dose of Disney. This is our intro podcast. I'm going to talk to you today about who I am and who we are and what we do. But we are so happy that you joined us to learn a little bit more about traveling to the parks, both coasts, East Coast and West Coast, because we do them both. And through this podcast, we're going to give you tons of tips and tricks on how to better navigate the parks, skip lines if possible, get your reservations, get your tickets all taken care of. My favorite part is the food. We're going to talk a lot about food. There are tons of episodes about the best places to eat and the best things to eat and what our experience has been there. And it's always magical for us. So we want to make sure that this is magical for you guys as well and that you guys get really good content out of what we're trying to offer. In fact, today, I'm going to give you our biggest piece of advice. And that'll come in a little bit here and we'll tagline it in just a bit. But our biggest piece of advice is something that, seriously, I want all of our listeners to take to heart because it will help make your trips more successful across the board every time that you go. So since we're doing an intro today, I want to talk a little bit more about who I am and our family and what we do. And so my name is Jared Dreyer. We have a family of three. It's myself, my wife, Stephanie, and our daughter. And we have been to the Disney parks ballpark. We're knocking on 100 times. To individual parks. Total trips, we're in the 20s, 30s range that we've been to either coast to go to the parks. So we are definitely veterans. We go a lot. We have season passes out in Orlando just because we're down there so much. We do have a condo down there. We like to go back and forth there. Obviously, my favorite part of Disney is the nostalgia of it. I grew up loving Disney, watching all the old films. One of my all-time favorites is Swiss Family Robinson. That was just a great epic adventure when I was younger. So we love Disney. Our daughter has definitely grown up through Disney, through all the videos and the movies that we have here. Now that we have Disney Plus, that made it a lot easier. So we are huge Disney fans. So we always look every year to at least going there once a year. Now that we've got our place down in Orlando, we go multiple times a year, which is why we did the season passes, and we absolutely love it. We love, honestly, and this is why we started the podcast, we love sharing the knowledge that we have and taking people with us. We have gone with multiple groups of friends and family, and our theme is that whenever we go with somebody, they always laugh at the fact that we go from rope drop, usually till close or close to close in the evening, and they are like, man, you guys are like machines at the park. You guys go all day, you ride everything, you do everything, you eat everything, which we do. We eat it all. They say it's insane how you guys do the parks, and we make it easy for them because we're their tour guides. Our slogan has become, I can do this all day, just like Captain America. So that is actually going to be our slogan for our podcast is I can do this all day. We have created a little icon around that. You'll see that on our sites. We've created some shirts with that and some merchandise, so please check that out. But we want you guys to feel like you can do this all day as well. So whether you're a first timer or you're going with a toddler or an infant, we've been there, we've done it, and it's difficult, and we know how that works. So we will talk about those kind of things. To the point where you're going with kids or teenagers or other adults, what are the best things to do? Where are you going to have fun? What do you want to accomplish when you're out there during that day? And so we're going to get you there. Eventually, you'll be able to say, I can do this all day as well, and you're going to love our merch. You're going to love what that all looks like. So check that out. It's on our Facebook page, and it's on our website. We will have some periodic guests that will come guest hosts with me. We've learned a lot from some of our friends. We have actually a set of friends that have allergies and some disabilities, so we're going to talk to them as well about how to navigate the parks with them and with those obstacles. So you're going to get some cool things out of our guest speakers when they come. And back to what I was saying, we love this. We love going to Disney. We love sharing it. That's why we did the podcast. I get asked questions all the time. I get asked a lot of questions around how do I get my tickets? I get asked questions around how do I make reservations? How do I guarantee that I can ride this ride? how do I guarantee that I can see this show? Or how do I guarantee that my kid can meet their Disney idol? And it doesn't have to be just Disney. We do a lot of Universals. So you're going to hear a lot about Universal. We're going to compare the two. So a lot of the friends and family and coworkers that I work with ask those types of questions. So we're going to go through and we're going to answer all of those. The questions, though, that I get the most, where are the best places to eat? What's the best food in the park? Especially from somebody who's been maybe once or twice. They know the layout. They know how to be successful during their day. They now want to know, where do I eat? What's the absolute best food that you would recommend? And boy, do we have a long list for you. Honestly, all the food out there at the parks, both California and Florida, whether you're going to Disney or Universal, the food's all really good. There aren't many things that are bad, but there are definitely some things that are pinnacle and are at the top of that list. So we will share those with you. We will go through each park, each area. So not just the parks themselves, but we'll talk about Disney Springs, Downtown Disney, City Walk, and we will tell you, here's been our experience, and this is what we've really enjoyed the most. So we will share that with you as we go through the podcast. Like I said, our tagline is, I can do this all day. So our I can do this all day tip for this episode here on getting to know the host is, and this is by far the most important one I'll give you on probably any of our podcasts, is you need to start planning early. So when you're thinking about going to Disney or Universal and you want to do that vacation for whether it's 2 or 3 days, you're going to go to LA and you're just going to hit the 2 Disney parks and maybe Universal, or you're going to go for a week down to Orlando and you're going to knock out all 4 parks and maybe Universal or SeaWorld or something else. Plan early. You definitely want to start as early as you can. Getting your flights, that's going to get you cheaper flights. Getting your hotel, it's going to get you a cheaper hotel, and we'll talk about places to stay in one of our early episodes. Getting your park reservations. So if you go to Disney, you have to do reservations. We'll talk about how to do that. If you're going to Disney as well, you're going to start asking about things like Lightning Lane, individual Lightning Lane, virtual queues. We're going to talk about all those things and how to get those secured so that you are able to pretty much guarantee that you're going to ride the rides that you want to ride. We're going to talk about how to get reservations at restaurants. That is a tough thing. That's actually, in my opinion, that's probably one of the most difficult things at this point, is getting reservations at the restaurants that you want. And I will explain why in that episode. We will talk about what's working against you in getting those reservations at the restaurant and who has the best opportunity to get them. And again, we said we would compare and contrast Disney versus Universal. 2 very different parks, 2 very different experiences, very different as far as rides, very different as far as restaurants and how to get all those. So we will get you up to speed on both because different families want different things. Our daughter is now transitioning to loving Harry Potter more than Disney. And so we definitely try to hit Universal as much as we can due to the Harry Potter lands. We love our butterbeer. And in fact, we'll have an episode around the best at-home imitation butterbeer. And the one that we've developed, which is not online, has been taste tested by dozens of people, and they have all agreed it is better than what's in the park. It is very close to what's in the park, but they all have said it's better than what's in the park. And it's a little bit sweeter. That's probably the biggest difference. It's just a tad bit sweeter. So that's what gives it a little bit of an edge. But we will give you that recipe in one of our podcasts later on. We're also going to talk to you about how to make a trip to Disney, whether you go to California or to Orlando. We're going to talk to you about how to make that free. So that's something that's exciting. And in fact, my family and I, we've done that twice. We have gone to the parks twice for free. And when I say free, it's mostly free. Of course, there is little bits. Obviously, you have to pay for your food and stuff like that. But there are little things that you will be paying for when you go to the parks. But for the most part, if you can get your airfare for free, if you can get your hotel for free, if you can get most of your park tickets for free, those are all really cool things to do and something that I would encourage you to go after, because that can save you thousands of dollars depending on the size of your family. So we're going to talk through all this kind of stuff. The podcast is going to be available for download every Tuesday. We will release episodes every single week. So please subscribe so that you can be notified when those come out. Our subscriptions are free. We are not going to charge for this information. We do have some merchandise that reflects our logo, as well as we would ask if you ever find a piece of advice that, hey, that saved me a ton of money or a ton of time, we do have donations available on our website. So you're able to go out there and donate to keep this podcast going and to keep the content coming, because we definitely want to keep sharing this with you. Additionally, my wife and I, we are available for individual consultation. We have found over the years working with our friends and family that there's been quite a few times that people have said, man, if you could just help us plan this, it would make our life so much easier. We're willing to help. So you can contact us through our Facebook page, and we will talk to you about that. It all depends on what we're doing for you, but we are willing to help make your trip as magical as possible and make it as easy on you as possible. We are not travel agents, so I will tell you that right now. We do not specialize in that area, but we can definitely point you in the right direction. We can tell you, here's what normal costs are. Here's what you should be looking for. Here's what you should book. We'll tell you what we book. We'll tell you and share how we do it. I'm happy to map out for you what you can do during your days at the park, how to get the lightning lanes, how to get to the front of the line, how to make your day go a little bit quicker, which we'll also talk about in a podcast episode here coming as well. So that's a little bit about us, about why we love Disney, our podcast, and what we're going to be doing here over the next at least a year. We've already got a list going of over 50 episodes, so that'll knock out a year real quick. So definitely you want to be subscribed to that content, and then pick or choose. When you come in, say a year or two from now, or you've already been going to Disney for a while, you may not want to listen to the episode about the lightning lane or about the touring plan for the day or how to do rope drop and where you should be going first. You may say, I want to listen about the food. We're going to have dozens of episodes about the food. So those are a great one for people that are experienced. Now, I will also say a lot of our podcasts will have tips and tricks that most others won't have. And these are things that we've learned. These are things that we have seen and done ourselves and have worked out really well for us, and that we do share with others. So it may be worth your while to listen to some of those episodes. Thanks for joining us today, just to meet me, Jared Dreyer, the host of this podcast, as well as to get to know us a little bit better and what this podcast is all about. Our next episode is going to be what to bring to the parks. What are the most important things that you want to take with you? We hope you have a magical day and a magical vacation the next time that you go to Disney.